Hey, this is Chris Walker. I'm an investor here in the local Richmond market, and I want to talk to you a little bit about the rent-to-own program that we have. But first off, let me tell you a story so that you get a feel for how this affected me personally. In 2006, I bought a rental property that was severely beat up. I bought it at a foreclosure, so I put a whole lot of money into it in order to fix it up for sale. By the time it was ready, I was still making mortgage payments on it, utility payments on it, I was paying insurance on it, paying taxes on it, even paying for grass cutting bills. And all of that money every month was going out of my pocket. And I was really excited to sell it. And so summer of 2007, because it was a little bit further away than the Richmond market, I had it listed with a real estate agent. But many of you probably realize what happened in 2007. In 2007, 2008, lenders stopped lending money. The housing market crashed, the values of homes crashed, and so suddenly I was unable to fill my house with a buyer. I was unable to sell it. I was unable to find a qualifying buyer that would even purchase the property. And it wasn't a matter of price, it was the panic in the market. But for me, as the owner of the house, it was a painful month after month to write those checks for utilities, property management, for vacancies, for mortgage payments, for even grass cutting bills. That was my pain, and 6 months of that really took a giant expense out of my pocket. And perhaps that's kind of what you're facing too. You tried putting your house up for sale and the market didn't support selling that house, and so every month you were paying on a vacant house, and it's a pretty painful out-of-pocket experience. Now, let me tell you the solution that happened. This is a solution that really worked for me, and it worked well. I found a rent-to-own buyer, and this rent-to-own buyer actually took over a lot of stuff that was covering a lot of the expenses on it. My rent-to-own buyer started paying the utilities. My rent-to-own buyer started sending me a monthly lease payment, which helped me to pay the mortgage. My tenant buyer made sure that the grass was cut, and she even made some improvements to the property. It was actually a really good deal for me, and it was a really good deal for her as well. We had to wait a little season of time for the dings on her credit report in order to get cleaned up, and then when those got cleaned up, she was able to qualify for a mortgage and she bought the house. So it worked out really well for me, and it worked out really well for her as well. Now perhaps you've had a rental that you've been sitting on for a while. Perhaps you tried to sell it out on the open market, and you know the pain of those monthly mortgage costs. I actually once had a vacant house that was eating up $1,900 a month just in the mortgage payment alone. That was probably the most painful house that I had before I was able to sell that one. Now, it may be your own house. Maybe you had a job transfer, and so suddenly your house is vacant because you moved on to another city. Or perhaps your tenants have just trashed the rental and you're a little bit demoralized with having this vacant rental that you're tired of dealing with. Or maybe like me, it was a house that just simply didn't sell. Now, what I'd like for you to do is I can help you place a rent-to-own buyer in your house, someone who is qualified through our screening process, someone who is close to getting a mortgage in order that they may have a high likelihood of actually purchasing your property. What I'd like for you to do is go ahead and if you think that this might be for you, or even if you think that you're not sure if you want to do this yet, I've prepared a report for you that I'd like to send you. In the box below, you will see a place for your name and for your email address. Go ahead and fill that out, and I will send you that report. And then I'll check in with you in just a couple of days, because I know that at this point it might not be the right solution for you. But I at least want to give you this information so that you can decide if it is a solution for your particular process. I'll also check in with you in a couple of days and then explain a little bit more about how this process works using me. One of the best questions that people ask me all the time, and I'll go ahead and address this up front, is simply this: how do I get paid? The answer is that the tenant buyer that I place in your house is the one who pays me for placing them in that house and for finding them that house. My service does not cost you anything, and that is probably the biggest benefit that you get out of it. The second benefit that you get out of it is the fact that you will have somebody in your house who is qualified, who is potentially qualified to purchase your property. So go ahead and leave your name and telephone number, your name and email address in the box below, and I will send you that free report, and also I will check in with you in a couple of days. I promise I will not spam you, I will not fill up your inbox, nor will I share this information with anyone else. It's simply a way to allow me to send you this particular free report. Thanks for listening, and look forward to helping you get rid of your house.